Yo, what's up guys, Say Chronicles here with another video on Chronicles talking about currencies and shops. In this game there's a whole bunch of currencies and a whole bunch of shops. What should you get? What should you buy? What should you save? What should you not save? What should you spend like no tomorrow? This is what we talk about in this video. I'm also making this video future-proof, going to the NA accounts, going to the shops that are not available on the European server yet, just to make this video future-proof so I don't have to recreate this video if we get like an update. And first of all, we're going to start off with crystals, because crystals is often like, okay, I can summon for those, doing these straight up summons for crystals. Should I do that? No, that is the last thing you should do with your crystals. That is what you can do with your crystals if you have a lot of money to spend in this game. But probably, let's assume you don't, and then I would recommend your crystals to be used elsewhere. Interesting thing which you can buy only once, I already bought it in this account, is what you can buy. It's called like Summoners War Chronicles, blah 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 something, and the pack is over here. It's a pack of 4 things that upgrade every time. The last one is pretty expensive, like that's the 16k crystals one, but it gives you a lot of good scrolls, and I highly recommend you to get that because it's definitely worth it. Other things which you might want to get is, if you're doing the exploration, I don't have exploration right now here right next to me, but if you're doing the exploration, you want to open the other tab, which is I think 3k, but that is very much worth it as well to get resources. Other things that you can get are, for example, let me see where they are, consumables. You can buy a bunch of things over here as well. Things that are kind of useful here, I would say Chaos Essences might be useful, and if you want to get a Legendary Pickaxe, I think the price is kind of okay for that. This thing mines a lot faster than normal pickaxes, like twice as fast, and there's a good amount of durability. So that kind of works out as well. And there is one more thing you can buy over here, but I can always not find it. Ah yeah, special shop prices, or special prices. These rune expansion packs, this one is maybe not that interesting, but the general expansion pack is pretty useful. And you probably also want to get this back expansion pack too as well. Those are just highly recommended things, because you're going to run out of space at all times. So you definitely want to spend your crystals on that. Once you bought all of those, can you then finally summon with your crystals? No. You want to use your crystals for refreshes for dungeons. So that will be mainly for Kairos. Kairos is very useful to refresh, especially in the early game, because you need a lot of these essences. And if you refresh this every day, you get a lot more, and that is definitely worth it. You can also refresh your Path of Growth, which is somewhat recommendable as well. It's pretty nice. And your Exploration is also refreshable. Something you do have to keep in mind: with every refresh you do, it becomes more expensive for the next refresh. So the first refresh in Expedition is 200, second one is 300, and the third one is 400. I would not recommend you to go that far, especially in Expedition. Like for other things, it's a lot cheaper. It's like it's 50 and then 100 and then 150. That's a lot more worth it than going straight like 200 and then like 400 for like 2 runs of this. For Expedition, it's not worth it, I would say. Another thing that you can also refresh is your Raheel tokens. And that is, if you click on them, the first one, you buy 20 Raheel tokens, if I'm not mistaken, for your refreshes, or Raheel orders there are. And the first one is 150, second one is 300, and the fourth one is the third one is 450. So that is pretty expensive as well on the 450, but I feel like that these are pretty much worth it, because you do these, you get a whole bunch of stuff, mainly doing the you get this one, you get also these tokens refreshed automatically. So you refresh a whole bunch of things for refreshing one thing, I would say. So I kind of like to do those in most cases. You could also say that you want to refresh Arena Wings. That is a possibility if you like to do more Arena. But that is the main general things that you want to spend your crystals in. And you're going to run out of your crystals by just doing these things. The next currency I'm going to talk about is gold. And gold I'm going to keep very short, because gold is pretty much most things. So yeah, you're just going to use gold everywhere. Don't use it too much, especially you can sink a lot of gold in professions. You do want to keep some gold for your other things, like your rune upgrades, your equipment upgrades and whatnot. So you definitely want to keep some of those. Sky Stones is a currency that is pretty straightforward as well, because you just use them for rune upgrades and for equipment. At some point you will actually get a specific shop where you can also purchase things with Sky Stones, which I will show on the NA account later. Okay, and then we go into the actual shops. You can actually access every shop within every window pretty much, except if you're in a dungeon, because then you cannot access guild. But what I always do to go to a specific shop, I click on guild, and then I click on guild shop. Because from guild shop, you can see every other shop as well. Probably there's some other ways to get there as well, but that is my way to get there. Arena shop at first. We have the Joker in here. It used to be Galleon on the NA server. Galleon was a nice buy, but this is absolutely garbage. Wouldn't recommend it. First thing you buy is, of course, the 5-star Devilmon. Afterwards, you buy the 4-star Devilmon. Once you're done with that, you could go for these things, but I'm not even sure what's the exact upgrade. Oh, you get like Archer type 400 HP. You could aim for these if you like to go, but you need the whole set for that upgrade. But in most cases, I would go scrolls after that. Guild shop. Guild shop, you also have a whole bunch of scrolls, including an L&D scroll, but I totally don't recommend to buy these. I recommend to buy ingredients. And your ingredients is pretty much the full set of materials you need for your promotion for cooking. So if you buy the promotion for level 4 cooking, if you buy this, you get everything that you need for level 4 cooking. And that is just highly recommended to go for and just slowly upgrade your cooking professions that way. So you don't have to do the cooking by yourself. You can just get them from these. It's somewhat expensive. It takes a little bit, but definitely worth it to do. Afterwards that you're done with those, you have a bunch of options. Either you go scrolls. Getting the pickaxe here is pretty useful as well. I think getting those pickaxes from here is one of the better places. Besides that, yeah, scrolls, skystones, that's probably it. Ascension shop. Everything in the Ascension shop is shit. Don't recommend to buy anything. Maybe, no, still wouldn't buy this. Also wouldn't buy this. What do you actually get from the Ascension shop? Well, as mentioned in the TOA video before, you want to use that currency to get these immemorial power and summon power, like the power of Ascensions up. So you definitely want to use those. I didn't buy anything in the shop and I ran out of Night Shields. And Night Shields you only get from TOA. So I have to wait until TOA resets. And then I can get more Night Shields. And then I can actually progress this again. So definitely don't make the mistake of buying like the outfit there or anything like that. Because it will really stagnate your progression for those Ascension power stuff. Going back to the shops. We have the Subjugation shop. Subjugation shop is probably something you haven't really seen yet. But these are all crafting materials that you have to use for, I think, Blacksmith 5, Blacksmith 6, and Blacksmith 7, and also for the Master Quest. So I would recommend you to save all of these tokens. Don't buy anything yet. Don't feel like, oh, I can actually buy like a necklace upgrade here or something like that, or a weapon upgrade. Don't buy those here. Definitely do not. You want to buy those at the moment that you want to do a specific crafting thing. Because this is pretty much like if you buy it at the highest state of a 5-1, it is immediately done. So you don't have to craft an upgrade for it anymore. You can just buy this thing, hand it in, and you're done. And therefore, these subjugation tokens are very useful. So don't waste these. Also, don't waste this on the tools that you can buy. Some closet stuff. Don't recommend to do that. Oh yeah, and a thing that you have to check. For some shops, you don't have this thing going left and right. And here you might think like, oh, we actually have 4 tabs. But there's actually more tabs. Like it shows it here kind of, but it's somewhat subtle that you don't notice. Like, oh, there's more stuff left to right. Going to the next one, we have the raid coins. And raid coins you always want to spend on the highest gear that you can get. So in this case for Foggy, you have to get a 5-2. If you get a 5-2, you have a small chance of getting a 5-3. And 5-3 is the highest we can get at the moment in Europe server. But definitely buy everything for those 5-2s. Don't think like, oh, this is cheaper, I can just go for this. If you buy this one, you have to do 2 crafting steps to get to this one, which is a lot of resources you don't want to waste. And just getting 110 more of these is a lot and a lot better. So yeah, that is everything for the coin shops that we have, or any of the shops that we have in Europe right now. We're going to switch to an NA account and show a bunch of more shops. So on the NA server, you also see that a bunch of things are more filled this way. Same thing if we go to the shop, guild shop, we see a whole bunch of extra tabs in here. So first of all, Arena has an extra thing, which is Brawl. And Brawl is RTA in this game. So first thing you want to buy is Devilmons. Secondary, you want to buy 4-star Devilmons if you still need them by then. Afterwards, things that you could buy is a Light and Dark Scroll. That one is pretty decent. Or you can start buying Galaxy Stones. I think I bought a few of those, and I think these are somewhat worth it as well. But they're also somewhat more on the expensive side. And let's see what we actually get from this. or via extra attack, so your main character extra attack. So getting this one, it might be interesting as well. But yeah, again, start off with the Devilmons, and then you might transition into like Galaxy Stones, because you can also use them for crafting, or they're just good upgrades for your runes in general. Guild Shop is still the same. They actually have a more interesting piece in here, which is the Harp Mage, which might be more interesting for getting for pieces the moment you're done with your ingredients. In this case, you actually can see that I did the ingredients for cooking 2 by myself. I didn't know about this stuff yet, so yeah. This is the same. Galarol's shop is something that will be added as last. And the main thing that you want to focus on this is probably, once again, the Devilmons. I wouldn't recommend to focus on those light and dark legendary pieces because they're pretty expensive to get you anywhere. Things that are also pretty nice are actually these. But for this shop, I'm not 100% sure what's the best to buy yet. But this is also content that will come in like 3-4 months for Europe. We have the Moon Shadow shop, which is Battlefields. And Battlefields is, as I mentioned before, a place where you can actually spend your Sky Stones. So buying these Devilmons for your Sky Stones is probably worth it. Like maybe the one on 200k is too expensive, like 100 is also expensive. But you actually have like the first few that you buy is like 10k, 20k, 30k, 50k. Those is definitely something you want to buy with that. Then you also have currency that you get from killing people and just doing the battlefields itself. And from that, you want to save them until you have a certain rank and you can buy the Devilmons. That is definitely what you want to aim for with that one. Then you also have a bunch of things like outfits and tools and recovery. Wouldn't really recommend to buy anything of those. Also, these outfits are insanely expensive because I did a lot of battlefields and I got like 810. And this whole set is like, man, I can't even buy one piece. And I never bought anything from these yet except for like 1 or 2 of these things. Then we have the Subjugation, which is exactly the same as for us. We have the raid coins, which is the same as for us, but they have added a few extra raids. And as you can see here, with higher rates, they have like higher grades of tiers. So the lowest tier is a 5.2, and the highest tier is a 5.5. So in this case, it could be a 5.4, and it could be a 5.5. But therefore, it also costs more tokens. When we go to the next, again, it even goes to 6, and it could be a 6.1. And then if we go on Marsh, I think Marsh could be a 6 right away. So this one, Marsh has less steps. So therefore, the tokens also cost less to actually get a weapon. So this one is 650, but for Boiling Waterfall, it's actually 940. But this is like pretty much a very strong weapon right away, and you want to use your tokens to get these kind of things. We also have the Seal Coins, and with Seal Coins, it's pretty much the same thing as the Raid Shop. You mainly want to spend them on getting equipment, and you want to buy the highest tier. So in this case, you buy this one, and it doesn't have the possibility of being 6.2. It just stays at like the 6.1 in this case. So yeah, that is pretty much all there is for all shops. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we're gonna see each other in the next one.